The game comes with 7 new characters and they're all guys, which surprised me a little because recent fantasy games really emphasize the figure of the strong woman, but, well, not here clearly. Okay, the warriors. The Krell warriors, the Krell, who knows, is a little bit of a generic fighter. He has, of course, a bonus in attack. What kind of fighter would he be otherwise? And he gets extra bonuses if other heroes or militia or mercenaries are revealed when he's around. He gets better bonuses as he progresses from level to level, but the idea is always the same. The more, the merrier. This is the guy I like a little bit better because he has a usual attack. What fighter would he be otherwise? But he also has additional attacks if no magic attack is present. And here the same thing. He gets better bonuses, but the idea is always that he really hates magic and he's powerful only when there is no magic around. And this may be the little masochist in me, but I like heroes whose power comes with a little bit of a catch, with a little bit of a challenge, because that makes things interesting and makes it harder for you to maximize your deck and make your deck work. Fighter Cleric, good if there are diseases around. He gets magic attack when he's fighting against monsters that give disease. At higher levels, he recycles diseases, meaning it destroys a disease and changes that into a card. And same thing here, destroy one disease to gain an additional magic attack +4, pretty good. And draw a card, I like that. You know, diseases become resources. What I like about the Chief Thieves is that at higher levels, they become interactive. At basic levels, again, there isn't much that is particularly extraordinary about them, but I always like when there are interactive things that happen. It's a very hard thing to accomplish in deck building games, it seems. So for example, this guy, when he gets to level 3, each other player chooses and discards a light item or reveals he has none, so he kind of like annoys the other characters, and the same does this guy, but actually starting from lower levels. Each other player discards an item, but this is level 2. Each other player discards an item or reveals he has none. Each other player discards an item or reveals he has none, so it can be annoying. Oh, you can also actually use the items that the other people reveal, so that kind of, you know, it's good, it's interactive. Archer feels a little generic again. Some of these cards are just feel generic, just like other archers in the sets of Thunderstone. He becomes more powerful as he attacks monsters at higher ranks. And then we have the wizard. There's only one wizard, but he's particularly powerful. He changes things into torches. Everything becomes, you know, full of light when he's around. Weapons equipped to your hero gain light +1, but then at higher level, level 2, weapons equipped to your heroes gain light +1 and attack +1. That's pretty powerful. Now look at this. Weapons equipped to your heroes gain light +2 and attack +2, and then you gain magic attack equal to the amount of light present. So he generates light and then he exploits it, sort of like fuels his own power. To the point that I almost wonder if this guy is a little too powerful. It may also be that I just recently lost a game because one of the opponents was using a strategy based around him and I didn't, and I lost the game basically because of him. So I may have a little bit of a grudge against him, so take my words with a grain of salt, or 2 or 10. The majority of new ideas and the entirety of new mechanics that Thornwood Siege brings to the Thunderstone system is to be found in the enemy cards. For example, these 2 types of enemies, the siege machines and the raiders, will attack the cards that are in the village, that is the resources that the characters can buy. Now, if you use only one of these 2, that creates a certain nuisance, but if you use both of them, then you will see that the resources in the village do decrease very fast, and that may create several problems. Actually, I feel that it adds to the competitive feel of the game. It is not, I build my deck, you build your deck, let's see who gets a certain amount of experience points first. No, here really is, if the resources become scarce, it does become a race to see who is going to be able to get the important cards. Just to give you a sense, the siege machines For example, this one will destroy the top 2 cards from each village and hero stack. If it breaches, pretty devastating, 2 cards from each village and hero stack. Whenever a player purchases an hero card, destroy the top card from that stack. Pretty bad. And actually some of these siege machines will destroy the cards that the players already own. For example, this one, whenever a player purchases a hero, the players must destroy a hero. So it can become problematic. The raiders. Here, the new mechanic that is introduced is the raid. That means that the player that flips that card, that has a raid effect, will have to resolve that effect immediately. For example, when revealed, destroy 2 cards each from the 2 least expensive village stacks. And all of the raiders have similar effects. Some destroy cards from the least expensive village stack. This one is a little more powerful, but same effect. 2 cards from the least expensive. Then you have some raiders that will destroy cards from the 2 most expensive stacks. And this one, the one is on the cover of the box, on the little box. When revealed, destroy 2 cards, okay, but then also destroy the top card of each village stack, matching any revealed village card. So it can create quite a bloodbath. That really makes him powerful. Another mechanics that's introduced here is the stocking mechanics that again applies to the player that flips the card and finds a stock effect on the card that was just flipped. So actually that adds a little bit of, you know, excitement and uncertainty. When you defeat a monster, you're all happy, but then you may get somebody stalking you. In this case, stalking is a negative effect that happens only once, that will plague the player that flipped that card. It will happen the next time that the player gets to play. So since an entire turn passes before that effect is resolved, then here you have these markers here that are used as reminders. You get a stock effect, then you get a marker that reminds you that next turn, for example, you have to go to the dungeon, which I kind of like because sometimes it can be really, you know, a bad experience. Gain 1 disease, discard 1 random, -2 gold, choose 1 discard. Nothing too exceptional or original really, but no, that's the new mechanics that we have here. Vermin folk, well, there's just like big rats. They do basic stuff, you know, like they weaken you, and all of them will inflict diseases on you. I mean, look at this guy. Looks like the guy that trained the Ninja Turtles. So these guys, I like the idea that they weaken you, give you diseases, but you're not. Doesn't feel 100% original, incredibly original, and they are sometimes a little funny. I mean, look at this guy. Pretty powerful. But I look at the illustration, it looks too much like my Uncle Luigi for me to take him seriously, so I really don't see him as a threat. The Malformed, what an unfortunate name. I wish they had called them the Differently Formed or the Formally Challenged, but that's the name that they chose. They are actually powerful enemies. I think they're some of the most interesting enemies in this game because what they do is they destroy stuff from you and they turn it into bad stuff. For example, this guy destroys militia and turns it into diseases. This other guy destroys light items and turns them into diseases that you have to take. Destroy all food items, same idea, get diseases. Destroy a fighter, get a disease. Destroy a monster, get a disease. So actually, these guys are particularly powerful. I like when they're around because they add to the challenge that the players have to face. Overall, this is a pretty good set of enemies. There are good ideas here, and overall, I would say that they have more personality than the heroes that are to be found in this set. In the interest of time, I can show you only a small selection of the other cards. Elite Militia, attack +2, which is good, but when purchased, you may make an additional buy and may destroy 1 militia. Always good to get rid of regular militia. You basically upgrade that into this militia. And additional buy is really not bad, because in this game, it's not that easy to get the extra buys. So always welcome when you can find one. Unicorn stakes. What's wrong with people? Who could ever come up with such an idea? And somebody has to explain to me what part of the unicorn that is. Anyways, Dungeon. Each hero gains strength +2, that's good, and magic attack +1. This is pretty good because it applies to each hero in your party. That means that if you use these cards combined with other cards such as the Quell Warrior that also have the more the merrier type of strategy, then they really maximize each other, and then this card can be particularly powerful. Curse Bow. Similarly to the cursed weapons in other sets of Thunderstone, the Curse Bow will give you a particularly good attack, but at the price of a disease that you gain when you use the Curse Bow. I really like the curse stuff. I like the fact that you have an exceptionally good advantage coming from it, but there is a minus associated with it. I'm usually the player that buys the most of the curse stuff when there is some available in the village, and sometimes I regret it, and next game, guess what? I do it just the same. Plague Smiter, magic attack +2, that's okay, but whenever you would be given a disease, destroy the disease instead. It can feel a little too powerful, but it's heavy, so that's good. Not everybody can use it. That's a limitation. And also, this is why I like the malformed, or again, I should call them the differently formed, because this guy here can annul the disease, but the malformed still destroy stuff from you. So it doesn't annul completely the power of that category of monsters, just limits it. Drill Sergeant. In the village, you can draw a card for each 2 XPs that you have. It seems good, but I usually spend my XPs pretty fast after I gain them, so I don't know that really I could use this power very often. In the dungeon, you destroy a militia to draw 2 cards and gain 1 XP. Now, this is much better, both with XP, and every way to destroy those militia is always welcome to me. Stalking Spell. Dungeon, other players must enter the dungeon on their turn. This is fun. Everything that makes the game more interactive, that makes a card influence what the other players do, to me is a good thing, so I definitely like this card.